And now it is my pleasure to introduce to you our first student. Bethany Schmieder attends Calamus Wheatland High School in Wheatland. She's the daughter of Wendy and Joe Schmieder, and her project is entitled Community Amphitheater.
Hello, and thank you for listening to my presentation today. Passion, motivation, confidence, creativity, and perseverance. These are 5 character traits that I have used to help accomplish what I've done so far in my community amphitheater project. I want to talk about passion. One of the 3 rules in applying for this scholarship is you have to be passionate about your project. When I was first applying, I read over the rules over and over. It has to include Herbert Hoover ideals, it has to be easily done by the student, and it must be done with student-driven interest. Student interest and passion. So in order to do this, I needed to figure out what my passion was. I thought about what I enjoy doing, and I love the arts. I've been in band and choir since I was in elementary, theater since junior high, and speech since freshman year. I love expressing myself and being in front of people. So I decided, okay, I have my passion. I do all of these things because I enjoy it. Now I needed motivation. What could I do with the arts that helped my community? I was thinking about what my school doesn't have. My school has 7th through 12th grade in one building, and we have less than 250 students in that building. So we don't have a whole lot. And I was thinking about what I could do with the arts for my school that could also help the community around it. And I thought about a theater. I thought back to when I was a kid, and I went to a park that had its own amphitheater. And every time I went there, I'd run to the stage, and I'd stand up, and I'd sing songs to my parents. And from that moment, and since, I've loved presenting and performing. So I had my motivation. I wanted to provide a facility for other people to get their inspiration of performing. This is pictures of me performing with some of my friends, doing band, choir, musical, speech. And the picture that is not black is the picture of the gym where we have our band and choir concerts. It gets a little hot and humid when you have 30 instrumentalists and 40 vocalists blowing hot air at a crowd of 100 people for an hour. So I figured we might need something a little bit different. By the time I had figured out what I wanted to do, it was the beginning of March, and I had less than a month to get everything I needed to apply for this. I looked online for pictures that matched what I had in mind. They're supposed to be up there, but they're not. Don't know why. But I looked online for pictures of things I had in mind, which was an outdoor theater with stone and grass seating and a simple stage. And I'm pretty sure that the people of my town thought I was a little bit creepy when I drove past the parks 3 or 4 times, going at about 5 miles an hour, trying to scout a location for this. And then I drove by the school, and I noticed that there was an empty lot at the back of the parking lot. So I got out and I measured it, and it fit the exact size that I needed for this that I had in mind. So I thought, perfect. Now I had a location. And then I realized I'd probably need permission before I started ripping up land and putting an amphitheater on it. And I realized I need a lot of confidence for my next step. My next step was going to the council members of my town and the school board members to ask for permission for this project. And I knew that they would ask for a lot of information in order to approve it. So I needed confidence. Confidence to approach them, compose myself like an adult, and act like I knew exactly what I was talking about. Which at the time I didn't. As I told you, I'm more into the arts, didn't know a lot about construction, but I got in touch with a local contractor, and he drew me digital sketches of what I had in mind. And he did this on his own time because I asked him nicely. After I got the sketches, I went to a local construction agency who helped me look at materials that I would need. They advised me what I should and shouldn't use. They advised me from not using plank seating. They kept me with materials that wouldn't be too expensive and would be easy to maintain. So after I figured out the different prices of things, I estimated my budget to be about $2,700. I talked to a different construction agency who agreed to cut me a deal because it was on school grounds and it was for the community. I rounded up my budget to $3,000 just to cover any other costs that might come up. Once I had all of this figured out, I created a keynote presentation. It covered why we needed it, what it could be used for, what it would cost, how I would fund it, and where it would go. I presented this information to both the City Council and the school board, and they were both very excited and supportive. These are the recommendation letters that I got from each council that I approached. So in the process of learning construction, I learned that in order to just put a tile stage outside, you have to dig, then you have to put sand, and then you have to put pebbles, and then slightly larger pebbles, and then rocks, and then cement, before you can even place the tile. I didn't know that you had to use drainage behind a retaining wall so it didn't mess up a cornfield that was behind it. And I didn't know bricks were so expensive. So needless to say, I had to readjust a few of my goals. Originally, I wanted to have it completed by the time I presented this presentation today. That didn't work out exactly as planned, and my new goal is to have it done before I go to college. I really needed creativity. Creativity to figure out how I was going to raise $3,000 from a rural, small community that had less than 700 people in it. The first thing I did was set up an online crowdfunding site. I ran this from April through August, and it reached people from my family, outside of the community, and inside the community. People donated over $600 this way. In May, I ran a fundraiser through my high school building, and all the students brought in their spare change. They brought in pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, and any spare bills they had. And I raised $200 in this 1 week. Next thing I did is I decided t-shirts would be a really good idea. It didn't go as well as a fundraiser as I wanted it to. I only profited about $30 after paying for the shirts. But I now have friends and family who can wear their t-shirts out, and people will ask them, "What is it?" And I get to inform more people. In June, our town had an annual carnival, and I was allowed to set up a game there. So I figured out I wanted to do a dart game where you throw balloons, or you throw darts at balloons, and I had paid for all of this, but I wanted prizes to encourage people to play. So I put in a shout out on an online community website, said, if anyone's looking to get rid of stuffed animals, call me. Lots of people were very excited about this. Apparently people don't like stuffed animals sitting around all the time. One of the women who contacted me, I'd never met before. She lives an hour away from my school, and she said, my boss has Beanie Babies that he can donate to nonprofits in order for a tax write-off. I said, oh, that'd be great, thank you. She said, so how many would you like? And I didn't really know what to answer. How many Beanie Babies should I ask someone for? She said, well, I can give you 1,000. So needless to say, I look like a Beanie Baby hoarder because there are boxes stacked to the ceiling of my closet full of Beanie Babies. She gave me 1,000 Beanie Babies for free, and she didn't know me, but she liked the idea of my project. Another woman who got in touch with me, I did know. She was a substitute teacher at my school before, and I found out that she was dying of cancer. So she contacted me and said that she really wanted to help in any way that she could. So I drove to her house, and she welcomed me in, and she led me around her house and just filled bags of all of these old stuffed animals. And she said, thank you so much for letting me help with your project. I think it's a great idea, and I wanted to help in any way that I could. And I couldn't believe that she was thankful for me to allow her to help me. And I began to start thinking about all the other people who had already helped me. And I was really humbled when I realized all of the people around me who had jumped up and did anything they could to help me. So the Tone Carnival went very well. I raised $150 and I only charged $1 to play. Even after this, I still had about half a thousand Beanie Babies in my closet. So I decided to do it again. A different town had a similar event, so I did the game again. Members of the National Honor Society helped me. And with all the Beanie Babies displayed, I was a kid's dream and a parent's nightmare. But I added another $350 to my project, so I didn't care too much. Another fundraiser I did was for the teachers of my school. Any teacher who donated $5 to my project got to wear jeans or shorts for the day, which apparently teachers really like wearing jeans or shorts, because I raised $300 just doing that one event. My most recent fundraiser was last week. A local fast food restaurant agreed to donate 20% of the total ticket price of anyone who went there and said they were in support of the theater. I raised $40 doing this, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you think of every ticket being about $6 or $7, and I raised $40 off of 20%, over 40 people came to support me that day. In total, I've raised $1,620. I've been interviewed by the newspaper that is distributed throughout the local towns about my project, so people from all over have heard about what I'm trying to do. Community members still approach me with donations, and I got a letter from one of my old teachers that I barely remembered, and gave me a donation, and she said she was impressed with what I was doing. Whether it's their time or their skills, I'm so impressed with how people have helped me. Herbert Hoover was a humanitarian. He put everyone's needs before his own and thinks about the good for everyone. When he heard about the people in Belgium, he threw away his career and went to help them to fill a need. I know Mr. Hoover would be proud of what I've done and proud of what my community wants to do. They want to volunteer. They want to help the community just like I do. I'm so passionate about this. I've cried over this, stressed out over this, but it's become a part of my life, and this project has been and will continue to be worth every second of it. And I can't wait to see how it affects the community and the people around me.
I love the idea of the community, and thank you so much for sharing your passion for the arts. That's just absolutely lovely. I have a question. With your fundraising, I think any political candidate would love to have you on their team. You're doing such a fantastic job. And with this fundraising, where are you planning on going to college, and how is this project going to continue after you start pursuing your higher education?
Currently, I'm looking at Columbia College Chicago, where I plan on majoring in comedy, performance, and writing. And I've discussed my project with the National Honor Society, who has helped take it on as some of their own service projects, and has agreed to help me continue fundraising if I'm gone and that hasn't been completed, to help me with construction, and to help with maintenance after I'm gone and can no longer take care of it.
A project like this requires maintenance over a period of time. Is it on school board property?
Yes.
So has the school board, well, I know they've encouraged you in this, but do you see this as something that would require long-term maintenance and care that really, like a public entity, is going to have to take over at some time?
I don't believe, as long as people don't start vandalizing it, it's not there's no wood, so nothing is going to rot and need replaced. It's all stone or grass or tile. So once we take care of the drainage, the ground shouldn't erode too badly. And the maintenance that the NHS has agreed to help with is mowing the lawn, keeping it tidy if garbage gets left there after concerts and stuff like that.
Is this going to be in Wheatland then,
Yes.
where the high school is?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.